Welcome back to Nahma. We design classes for seniors and for differently abled yogis so that as many people as possible can be active. This class is for our slightly more mobile yogis because you will be getting up off your seat for a couple of poses, but don't worry, the chair is always going to be within arm's reach should you need it. So all you need for this class is a sturdy chair and maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So you should leave feeling really energized in your legs and in your spine. And I'm so excited to take you through it. So thank you for joining me and let's get cracking. So we're going to start by sitting towards the front of our chairs to make sure that all four corners of our feet are firmly planted on the floor. From here, we're going to sit up straight. And we're just going to relax our shoulders down our backs, maybe closing our eyes, taking a deep inhale. And then just letting our shoulders melt away from our ears. So we're going to bring a little bit of flexibility into the neck by starting to dip one ear towards the shoulder on the same side. So you're just going to imagine that your ear is coming close to parallel to the shoulder. That's actually very difficult to do, but just the thought of bringing it parallel is enough for you to feel quite a stretch on the opposite side. And then on an inhale, you're going to come up to straight. And exhale, dip the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder. Just allowing your shoulders to melt down, no tension here. And then inhale to center, exhale to the opposite side. Don't strain the stretch in your neck. Just keep it natural, keep your head heavy. Coming up to center, just dipping one more time, opposite direction. And then coming back to center. Lovely. Now let's open up the shoulder girdle a little bit. This exercise is called pouring tea. And you're going to imagine that you have two trays of hot tea balanced on your palms. So you always want your palms facing the ceiling. You never want to turn your hand over in this exercise. So we're going to do it together slowly just to make sure you have it on both sides, and then we'll move into the actual exercise. So bringing your palms facing the ceiling, just place them at your waist. Now you're going to start to reach across with your right hand diagonally in front of you. You're going to serve those teacups to your imaginary guests, and then you're going to swing your hand behind you, looking at your palm at all times, and then you're going to start to circle your hand over your head. Now at this point, because you want your palm facing up, you're going to have to twist at your elbow and bring your fingers to face the front of the room. So now you're going to serve that tray of tea again, and then bring it back to your waist. Let's try that on the other side a little bit faster. So reaching across from you, you're going to serve that tea. Now you're going to swing your hand behind you, still with that tray facing the sky, so you haven't upset anything. Your fingertips are going to start to twist to the front. You're going to serve that tea again in front of you, and then bring it back to your side. Okay, now that we have the movement, let's try and match it with our breath. So, reaching across with your right hand, serve the tea and inhale. Keep inhaling as you reach behind you, and then as you start to circle on top of your head, start to exhale. Serving that tea across, and then bringing it back to your waist. Let's move on to the other side. So inhale. Let's move a little bit faster now. This is a beautiful exercise from Qigong, and it opens up your chest area, your shoulder girdle, and it also wakes up the meridians in your hands, and those control your digestive organs, your heart, and your lungs. So it's a really wonderful exercise where you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Remember, keep your eyes on your hand at all times. Really noticing any sensations that you might be having in your shoulders and your upper back. It's the last time. And then bringing it back to your waist. From here, let's work into that flexibility in the spine. So you're going to cross your right leg over your left. And you're going to just grip the side of the chair with your right hand. On the inhale, you're going to start to reach your left hand all the way towards the ceiling. So really reach through those fingertips. On the exhale, bring the hand down to grip the outer edge of your right thigh. So inhale, sit tall. And now you're going to exhale and start to twist from the belly towards the right-hand side. You're going to inhale tall, maybe going a little bit longer now, and then start to twist the mid-back towards the right. Inhaling, getting a lot of length through the crown of your head, and now start to move your upper back into the equation. So swinging your upper back towards that right side, maybe looking over your shoulder if it's comfortable for you. No need to strain your neck, making sure that your shoulders are dropping down your back. Staying here for one more breath. And then slowly unwinding, releasing that twist, taking it over to the other side. So, planting that right foot down onto the ground, cross your left leg over, and just grip the outer edge of that left side. Now you're going to reach your right hand up and bring it on the exhale to the outer edge of that left thigh. You're going to inhale and sit up tall. Remember, moving from the bottom up, you're going to first start to twist your belly button towards the back of the room. So you're going to twist towards that top thigh. You're going to inhale, get length through the spine, and then start to imagine that on the exhale, your mid-back is moving towards the back of the room. And then on your next inhale, you can start to move your chest and your shoulders into that twist. The reason we're working from the bottom up is because our upper back has the most mobility, so we tend to just crank our upper body into twists and kind of ignore what's happening below it. So by consciously separating all those parts with your breath, you can start to get a lot more juice out of this pose. Taking one more inhale long, twisting, maybe looking over the shoulder if it's comfortable for you. And then on your exhale, just release and come back to center. Uncross your legs. So for our next pose, we're actually going to get off our chairs and come to stand behind it. So you're going to stand with your feet about hip width apart, and you're going to grip onto the back of the chair with your left hand, and you're going to lift your right hand to the sky and reach it tall. Inhaling here. Exhale, let's start to go into a side bend by reaching towards that left side. So you're really inhaling, stretching your fingertips tall, and then you're exhaling, reaching a little bit further. You're using that hand on the chair to really allow you to stand up straight, but don't put all your weight into the chair. Also try and use your stomach muscles. If you can, you might even want to let go of the chair as you reach across and get length all along the right side of your body. Taking one more inhale here to really reaching through the fingertips. And then coming up, releasing your hand down to the back of that chair. Let's take it to the other side. So you're going to inhale, your left hand up this time. So standing really tall, and then exhale, start to hinge towards the right. So as you inhale, you're really going to reach your fingertips long As you exhale, you're going to really push through them, feeling an excellent stretch through the whole side body. Again, try testing the strength of your stomach muscles here. You might just want to hover your hand over the back of the chair, putting as little weight as you can, using your own muscles to keep you upright if it's possible. Taking one more inhale here, just reaching to that right-hand side. And then coming up, standing tall. Now we're going to move into some calf raises. I'm just giving you a side view. You can come behind your chair. You don't need to move it. And you're going to start by resting your hands on the back of your chair. Now you're going to just pay a little bit of attention to your posture. Your belly button should be moving back towards your spine. So there's a little bit of tone in your stomach muscles. And this is going to allow you to stand up really straight. The crown of your head is reaching towards the top, towards the ceiling. And just take a moment to notice what's happening in your lower back. Some people, when they stand, have a tendency towards sway back, which is where you kind of tilt your bum out a little bit. You want to gently guide your pelvis into a more neutral position so that your tailbone is pointing directly downwards to the floor. So effectively, I'm exaggerating, but you're not doing this, you're doing this. Okay, now when you have that nicely set up, we're going to go into some calf raises. So you're going to come up onto your tippy toes, and all you're doing here is standing tall and lifting an inch and lowering an inch. Lifting, lowering. This is a subtle movement, and your heels are not technically reaching the ground. They're staying hovering even as you lower down. And we're doing this to bring some tone into the calves, but also the backs of the thighs and the glutes. If you do this enough, you will really start to feel this in your glute muscles. And you can have your hands resting on the back of the chair. That's totally fine. If you want to turn this more into a balancing exercise, you can experiment with taking one hand off, and then maybe as you lift and lower, reach both hands in front of you or to the side. Maybe you've just one hand resting here. Just play around with it as you lift up and down. We're going to be here for 5 more. 5, 4, 3. Maybe for these last 3, hover your hands. 2, 1, and coming down. That was great. Now you're going to swing around and come to face the seat of your chair. You're going to bring your palms to the seat of the chair so that they're about shoulder width apart and your fingertips are spread wide. Just make sure that your wrists are lining up underneath your shoulders. That's the most important thing here. We don't want to put any excess pressure on the wrists. So maybe walking your feet back a little bit. You're going to start to go into some cat and cow stretches. So you're going to start by curling your back and exhaling all the air out of your belly as you round your spine towards the ceiling. So your chin drops and your tailbone tucks in. And then on the inhale, you go in the opposite direction. So now you're going to start to drop your belly and drop your chest between your hands and move your tailbone up to the sky. Maybe if it's comfortable for your neck, you're also going to look up. Now, just move in this series according to your own breath. So as you exhale, start to round your back, really pushing all the air out as you tuck your chin into your chest, pressing into your hands. And then on the inhale, move in the opposite direction into that lovely cow pose. Just feeling all that flexion in the spine. Really working your back. And making sure that you have a solid base with your feet. So making sure that your feet are giving you all the support that you need so that there's not a whole lot of pressure going into your wrists and into your hands. This is a modified cat and cow. It's normally done on your hands and on your knees, but it gives you, doing it this way gives you all the benefits as well. One more cycle here. Really pushing through your hands in order to really work that back. Lovely. Coming back into neutral spine, just standing up for a second, maybe shaking out your wrists, giving them a bit of a roll, because we're going to go back into that position. So again, bring your hands to the seat of the chair and making sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Now we're going to go back into that crazy cat stretch, but this time we're also going to bring our knee into our chest. So we're really curling up into a little ball here, tucking your chin into your chest and inhaling as much as you can. On the exhale, I want you to kick your leg out behind you, which you previously curled into your chest. And you're going to give a ha sound as you extend it out behind you. These are called leg pumps, and they relieve a lot of pent-up tension that you might have in your body. So let's try that again, same leg. So you're going to round your back, bring your knee into your chest, inhale. Exhale it out behind you. Let's do that 3 more times. And last time. Just kick it up. Coming back to straight, maybe just rolling the wrists out to avoid any pressure. And then coming right back into that, we're going to take it over to the other side. So now moving on to the opposite leg, you're going to bring your knee into your chest as you curl your chin in and inhale. Exhale, pump it out. 3 more times. Inhaling, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale it out. Imagine you have some issue that's been bothering you for the whole week, and now you finally have a chance to just exhale it out. Kick it out. Last time. Inhale. Gather any energy that you've been wanting to get rid of over here, and then wait for it. Can you curl a little bit tighter? And then exhale it out. Lovely. Bend your knees slightly as you come up and roll it out. Give your wrists a little bit of relief. Great. Our last pose is going to be a beautiful hip opener and a twist. So you're going to come facing the seat of the chair, and you're going to start to slide your left foot towards the chair. So your toes are actually going to disappear under the seat of the chair. You won't see them. And you can start inching your back leg back and to the side a bit. So your toe and your knee are going to be moving in the same direction, and they're actually not pointing forward towards the chair. The toes of your back foot are going to be pointing out at about a 45-degree angle. You can play around with this a little bit while you're in the pose, don't worry. So your left foot is underneath the chair, and now you're going to take your left hand and just place the palm underneath your shoulder on the chair in front of you. Now from here, you're going to start to move your hips open to the side of the room. So previously your hips were facing the chair. Now can you see if you can roll your top hip, your right hip, back in space so that your left hip rolls under and your belly button, the trunk of your body, is now opening to the side of the room. So in this position, you should start to feel a really lovely stretch through the side of the hip. And we're going to turn this into a little bit of a twist for the spine as well. So just as your top hip is moving back in space, can you also start to move that top shoulder back in space a little bit? So your lower ribs should tuck in and your top ribs should be moving back so that the whole trunk of your body, your knee, everything is opening up to the side of the room. Staying here and breathing. You can pick an arm position for that top hand. So you can either start to open up that arm and reach it up to the sky, moving into full triangle pose. And you can look up at that hand if it's comfortable for your neck. If this isn't working for you, just stay breathing. Bring your hand down to your hip. And if it's more comfortable for your neck, you can look down and face the seat of the chair. Wherever you are, just focus on that lovely twist that your spine is getting, as well as that really intense opening through that right hip. Let's stay here for one more breath. And then bend your knees. Let's take it to the other side. So now you're going to switch your foot position, and you're going to bring your right leg and slide it underneath your chair. And you're going to back that left foot behind you. And remember, the toes on the right leg are facing forward, and the toes on the back leg, so the left leg, are open at about a 45-degree angle. Now you're just going to take your right hand, you're going to place it underneath your right shoulder, and then just like you did in the last pose, can you start to bring your right hip so that it stacks under the left hip. So the left hip on the top is going to move back in space, and the right hip is going to curl under it. And in doing this, your belly button is going to be opening up to the side of the room. And you should start to feel a pretty intense stretch on that left side. So from here, let's take it into a little bit of an upper back twist as well. So start to open your heart in the same direction as your belly button. And in order to do that, you can start to move that top shoulder, so that left shoulder moves a little bit further back in space. Now your top hand can either reach up, and you can look up in full triangle. If that's not comfortable, you can either look down, and you can also take your hand to your hip. Just focus on opening your belly button, your hip, and your chest to the side of the room. So you're getting a little bit of a twist, and you're getting a lovely stretch through that left side body. You're staying here for one more breath, so take a deep inhale into that hip. And then you're going to exhale it out and start to unwind. So bring both hands to the seat of the chair. And then we're just going to have a little roll up. So letting the top half of your body be really heavy. You're going to exhale all the air out over here. And then slowly on the inhale, you're going to start to rise up, but as slowly as you can, you're going to start to stack vertebra by vertebra. And the last thing to come up is going to be your head. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. You just went through 8 fairly challenging postures. I hope you feel energetic, I hope you feel stretched out, and I hope you feel accomplished. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you have any requests or any comments, please leave them below this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care.